So, hey guys, today is Friday, and we are going to talk about tribalism in Kenya. So, if you're here, please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll keep producing content every day. So, we are both Kenyan. We know what tribalism is. So, basically, tribalism is favorism, and in this concept, it's favorism of leadership for a certain tribe. So people prefer their tribe to lead the country than another tribe, and it's taking like it's like a turn. You know, people want the if it's a Luo or a Kikuyu, people want the same tribe, the same origins to lead the country, to be in power, to give them, to like favor them in a way for them to get. I don't know what the concept is about tribalism, but I think there's like a deep unseen hate, or there's a confrontation that people want to have amongst tribes that is not being sorry that is not being addressed. So if you look at the past elections, you know it's always been Luo and another tribe. Like right now it's Luo and the Kalenjin. Ruto is, it's always been like that. Tribe. You want to vote for certain tribe, Raila. You want to vote for Uhuru. Kikuyu, Luo, and it's always been a tribal competition to be in power. And I think what people don't realize is those are the things that make us. They don't matter. It doesn't matter who leads. It matters what you as yourself you do as a person. And people, majority of people still think that if their tribe gets the office of the president, that the things will be better for them. But really, if you think about it, no one really knows those leaders personally. Like I don't know Uhuru personally, even if we're the same tribe. I'm sure everyone else doesn't know these people personally. The only people who know them personally are their family and friends. So tribalism is something that has been there since independence. Since I think since we gained independence, we've always been favoring the tribe over the other, and it's really something that brings us to a point of like a zero sum game. Like when no one wins, no one loses. It's just a waste of time, and we keep wasting our time with tribalism, tribal issues. We need to follow this guy because he's my tribe. We don't actually listen to what this guy is promising to do in the country. We just it's your tribe or my tribe, and there's no really analysis of what it means, because I think even now most Kenyans don't understand what it means to vote for someone into office, because that's something that's not discussed even amongst ourselves. It's just this guy is a certain tribe, vote for him because he's a tribe. But in the end, when you go outside by yourself and you're trying to hustle for a meal, it's you by yourself. No one's going to give you anything for free because you're the same tribe. I want to give anyone something for free because they're the same tribe as me, and that's some kind of it's interesting that people think that similar tribes you're just going to get along together and things are going to be better. But it's all about the kind of skill set you have as an individual and the kind of life you want to live. That's what matters, and not really tribes. Tribes are just they're like constructs. It's just I think it's just something that has been, the concept of tribe is something that happened for survival. People grouped together for them to survive together in a harsh environment. If you think about it, in the past, before things like in Africa, let's say, when people were hunters and gatherers, that's when people needed tribes to be able to survive and work together to overcome the harsh realities of the environment. To hunt for food, to hunt for to protect themselves against wildlife, and that's what tribes are for. But now we're talking about being a country, and a country, it's very different from a tribe. A country, you need everyone to participate economically, and there's so much that goes on in a country. I'm not like someone who knows much about uh, governance, but I can say for a country to run, we can't be split by things like tribalism. those things will make us constantly be crippled and not be able to progress forward. So Josh, maybe you can add something on top of what I had to say.
Hi guys. Uh, as he has said, today we are talking about tribalism in Kenya and Africa, but mostly in Kenya because we are from Kenya and we understand tribalism much better in the Kenyan context. Uh, so when you look at how tribalism plays in Kenya, uh, it's not even only from the political point of view. It's more even an economic, even a social point of view, because when you look at how tribalism has been segmented in the country, every tribe owns a particular asset when it comes to in the institutions of the country or the framework of the country. You find, like, for example, Kikuyus are known to be business people. Kalenjins are known to be large scale farmers. Luos are known to be educators. So you realize that each tribe, when you do like that, you realize that each tribe owns a certain segment of the framework of the institutions that run a country. And we are now in 2022. We have to go to how did it start. When you go before the colonial times, tribes were living individually. So tribes were living individually, like you find the Kikuyu, the Maasai. Every person lived in their own place. But now what happened when the first scramble for Africa, when people were dissecting Africa, the Europeans, they decided to to draw the boundaries without even thinking about the tribes and how the coexistence it's going to affect. And for example, you can see a place like northeastern in Kenya, the boundary is drawn, it splits two tribes, one major tribe, the Somalis. So we have some of the Somalis in Kenya and some of the Somalis in Somalia. Yet they were both, one nation. You come to the side of Tanzania, you find that Maasais are split into half. They are Tanzanian Maasai and they are Kenyan Maasai. So when you look at these boundaries, you come to realize that this is the first kind of sin. They were drawn without any consideration of knowing, splitting tribes and putting tribes that don't even have the same thing in common together and dividing tribes that have the same thing in common apart. Because and this is the biggest issue, because now if you put people who have no common agenda together, tribe-wise, you find that they'll always compete for power, for economic, and a country like Kenya where we have 42 tribes, grouping them together, we were like, especially like in Kenya and in Africa, the Europeans took time to come from tribes into nation state. That's why you can go to Germany and it's only one tribe, because Germany is not when you look it from a state point of view, they're still a tribe. When you go to Britain, it's the same. When you go to France, it's a tribe. But them, they were given an opportunity to mature democratically and to their system to be so good so that they can form a coherent understanding. That's why there's the French, German, and if you go to all these countries in Europe, you realize even their style of living, what they eat is different. When you're in Italy, you can tell you're in Italy. When you're in France, you can tell you're in France. So the same wasn't done to African countries to give them time, like, for example, if we were not colonized, probably the Kikuyu region could be a country by its own. The Luo region could be a country by its own, the Luo, the Kalenjin. And you could, because even European countries are not that big, they're not that big. So if someone says, Central cannot be a country because it's small, but also even European countries are not big, because that shows you it's one tribe occupying a certain area. So when you look at that blueprint, to come to realize that the partitioning and the clamping up of so many, it was like a cocktail. As you are just drawing the boundaries, if you find yourself on the other side of the wall, this side, that's your own problem. So and now even how the independence was done, people think that the independence was done, but I feel like even how the British left, they left abruptly, like you just wake up and, probably to the people who are there, the normal citizens, they felt, hey, we are getting independence. But probably the abruptness was the institutions weren't ready for that abruptness. That's why when the British left, the country went back to, to chaos, because now you have like 42 tribes all fighting for one position of a president, because they believe that a person who is there, when he's there, you are going to benefit. And if it was if each tribe was allowed to govern itself as a nation, let's say if it's a Kikuyu, if we had a president, all presidents would be Kikuyu. So it's hard to find that there's someone who's creating a tribal war, or there's that kind of, there'll be competition to lead the Kikuyu, but it won't be, it won't be disgusting or bloody.
It won't be external.
Like how
it won't be external
people won't take it
tribalistically.
to the heart, because now we're in a situation where we
it
are
will be
42,
like a healthy competition.
Yeah, we are 42 tribes, but the position is one, and we can't all be president. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
Now we have democracy. We can't all be president, and people must remember that. Also the people who took over the government after independence, they were very smart. They continued the lie that the colonial governments continued, because you see immediately, when people are fighting for independence, the white man was the enemy. But once the white man went away, these leaders who took over the government came and realized that in politics, you always have to have an enemy for you to create some kind of narrative. You understand?
Yeah.
If you're running for politics, the enemy is corruption. Sometimes, I'll enter and fight corruption. I'll enter and, so when these people took to government, they realized that the boogeyman, the white man, is not there's no enemy to point that we are under colonialism. So what they did? They had to find an enemy. They went back to their own tribal cocoon. And now you find that that's why you find Jaramogi and Jomo Kenyatta split, because now the enemy now became the tribe. Those guys are the enemies now, because they needed to find enemies for their political life to be sustained. So they keep telling people, the reason why my government is not performing is because those people, but rather than coming out and telling people, I can't perform, but you always want to create a boogeyman to blame why you're not performing, why there's so much corruption, and that has literally propagated to where we are today. That's why you feel like, and we have a very big.
It's like a mutation. It has mutated into something that we can't even detect where it started, where it's going. It's just it almost feels like it's a permanent situation with the tribalism thing. It almost feels like we'll never be able to agree on, we are all in one place and we need to help each other. Because like you mentioned, we are stereotyped into, like you said, Kikuyus are businessmen, Kalenjin are large-scale farmers, Luos are well educated. And how comes, because of that stereotype, we can't even view that as strengths or weaknesses. We just view it as, Nyinyi, you're not like me, so that's who you are. Instead of cohere, we don't even know how to unite people. At this point, you don't know even what you can do to unite people. You don't know what to tell them.
The sad thing is that people think that their person enters there, they'll grow economically. And let me just be realistic to people. People sometimes want to be told, want to live in a fairy tale. There's no possible way in Kenya of 42 tribes we're gonna have each and every person of that tribe becoming president. There's no way. There's no way.
It's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen. And that's why they invented the governor system, because they felt that, even the guys who came up with the counties were not, they were very smart people, because they realized everyone is fighting for the president. So let's try and give you a small president in your place, so that it removes that idea of always wanting to become the main president.
And I feel like that's the best thing that happened to Kenya, because the president itself, the seat of the president, is actually not the most desirable seat someone should be aiming for if they get into politics. Someone should be aiming for to become a governor. A governor, now you're with your people, you're with your own tribe and everything. And now you have the power to now compete against other counties. And if you look at a country like the US, it's the same way. You find that counties are constantly competing. Counties have their own rules, they have their own governance. You find that Hollywood is in California. It's strong with producing entertainment, and Silicon Valley is in California, strong with producing technology. Find that Texas is farming. They have that strength and weaknesses according to counties. But in Kenya, it's still, because I don't know why people don't focus in their counties, and a county is literally a small country in its own economy. People can even come together and decide, let our county be the best county even in the world, and it can bring in a lot of economic value, tourism, farm production, even technology, real estate can be very valuable in all these counties. People abroad can be, people will start wanting to buy houses and things like that. And I don't know why that is not being communicated as much as president. Because to me, now that you mentioned that about counties, I don't think the president's seat is the best seat that someone should be.
But you also need to understand.
The governor.
But you also need to understand that the tribal thing has been used to cover up corruption. Because since people are given this county, we expected you because let's say a tribe that hasn't, let's say that like the Taita, they haven't had a president, but now they have their own governor who has money. We expected the governor to realize, regions like Nyanza, Kalenjin land, Kikuyu land have developed. My land, my area has never developed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ensure that, I try to catch up by all the money I get to invest. But you find these governors, they're the biggest looters. So tribalism only comes when they're trying to defend themselves against corruption. Because now when you go to arrest that governor because of corruption, these people are going to say, no, you can't arrest our guy. This is our guy, why are you arresting our guy? So tribalism has only been used to, as a shield, to shield people from accountability. From accountability, because now, if you are a tribe, we always, this is our guy when accountability is demanded from this guy, because you expect. I remember you are reading that report that county governments have been given 1 trillion over 1 trillion in I think in 10 years.
It was 10 years,
and
it was $1 trillion or $1 trillion shillings.
No. It's not even it's even more than $1 trillion. I think it's like close to two.
It was 10 trillion.
No, two. Because every year they get like 300. Let's say 300 billion. 300 to. Okay. So you put it's like 3 to 4 trillion.
It's so 3 trillion, 3 to 4 trillion,
And they cannot account, but you see, but now the tribal issue comes when you go and try to put them in accountability. Because if it's a governor from TC, for example, who has taken this money, you go and arrest him. People won't accept. If it's Kiambu, it's the same. So it means these people who are saying that, this analogy of actually we need to be accountable, we need fairness. So a person has to be on the presidential seat. It's a lie, because once they were given the governor, they cannot account where the money is. So how can you not account the money if you're a governor and you want the presidential seat? So it means that all this noise about, Kikuyu, Kalenjin, and Luos have been controlling politics. Give us a chance. It's more of a, I'm not saying the guys, the Kikuyu, the Kalenjin, and the Luos have been doing a good job, but also these other guys, it's more of, you guys have been eating, we also want to eat. It's not more of, you guys have been ruling, but give us a chance, we can do better. Because once they were given money into their counties, their counties still don't have water. So you understand, you look like Northeastern. Northeastern, on the other video, we are talking about how Northeastern, farmers are selling cattle 10% of the price. A goat used to go, a cow used to go for 50,000. Now it's 5,000.
5,000.
And Northeastern counties are the ones which have been given the most money, because guys believe that these places are underdeveloped, they need to play catch up. But where is the accountability? And now some people, they are saying, our population will come out of poverty when I get the president. You've already been given a governor a budget of almost 20 billion a year. If you can't do anything with that. And that's why I'm saying, the tribal issue is very tricky, because people need to understand that politics is not a sympathy. You can't come and say, our tribe has not been in this seat, please, yeah, you have to fight for it. And that's why I can give an example. If you look at even at England, the prime ministers, most, if not all, have come from Britain. You know, UK is Wales, Ireland, or you know, it's the United Kingdom. It's Wales, Irish, and Scotland. Most prime ministers have come from Britain, not from Wales and Scotland. So even amongst the UK, there's some kind of tribalism, but you've never heard the Irish, the Scottish saying that we haven't developed because our guy has not been the prime minister. You've never had anything
you
like
never
that.
had,
Because everyone has taken, and that's what I'm saying, you know, the fact that Britain has
everyone
power,
is accountable.
yeah, the fact that Britain has power and resources, most prime ministers will always come from Britain. That's how politics is not a, you know, a sympathy seat. And you go again to America, you know, the white population is the largest, you know, even no matter how the black people keep saying, please, 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 it can never, you know, we can give examples of the best democracy. And that's why I'm saying people should focus on putting their leaders into account. That's the biggest, that's the, you know, that's the biggest, not to say that you need your person there, you know, you need someone from there, because
it actually shouldn't matter. You know, you pointed that out. It actually shouldn't matter much who is leading it. Is it someone you can account for? Is it someone who's competent? Yeah, and that's the thing that people are trying to, you know, even during the election on the news, you find that people are trying to, like on the news, people are trying to say, you know, elect someone who's competent, elect someone who's competent, but still in the real world now, in you know, outside of the news, in the real world, people still believe heavily that my tribe needs to lead so that I can feel like I can become, you know, even competent myself. Because like you said, even socially, people still believe there's some kind of juju being played. Why is it this guy entering? Why is your guy always in? Why is your guy always in? And they don't understand the details about, like you said, who has the most you know, resources, who's doing the most. That's the person who will be governing. They come from the people who are doing the most.
And I can give also another example. You know, Brazil has the second largest population of black people outside Africa. The population in Brazil is of black people is 100 million. But you know, when
just black,
yeah, but not a lot of people know this. And when you see the advertisement, the shows on TV, you can never think there's a big population of black people.
Actually, it's very hard for me to imagine Brazil has black people.
Yeah, it's 100 million. And that, what I'm trying to show is that power is not a sympathy seat. You know, the people who have the resources and the money are the whites. They are going to control Brazil for a long time. So if the black people in Brazil expect that their person has to be there for them to get out of poverty, I'm not saying equality and all these should be there, but at the end of the day, it's good to be realistic. You know, let's not build
let's talk about what's there now
on the ground.
Let's talk on the ground, because even us, if you look at where we are, you know, Nairobi is it borders Central and you know, Rift Valley. Those are the guys who are around Nairobi. So obviously, you know, the capital city is going to be mostly people who own, you know, they come from those areas. You know, Kikuyus, Kalenjins, they're the ones who are going to, you know, be very active in business in a place like Nairobi. So, and I think I think people don't look at it in an aspect of things like geography. Let's put it this way: people don't look at governance in a scientific, you know, the scientific background of governance. The population that surrounds Nairobi is the one that's going to be most dominant in Nairobi. You know, it's like saying if
no,
the center of
you're right, because people have to look in the scientific. Because another example, you can put the Jews in America. There's a small population, but
we have to play numbers.
All the world, so they control the politics of that country, and that's and that's what I'm trying to say. Politics is not a sympathy thing. It's more of resources, power.
It's pure hard work. It's like the way you can say, you know, like we're watching that Mapogo's Lions, and these are lions that at the center is usually the animals that herd, and the lands now follow the herd according to the territory. So the territory of lands that has the most, lions, the one that has the most lion power, let's put it manpower, lion power. The pride that has the most lion power is the one that's going to eat the most and hunt the best. It's never about, some lands feel like the other pride is not having food, so let's give them. So it's never like that. Even in the wild with animals, there's no sympathy. In fact, even animals, if you find that a wildebeest has given birth to a calf, and the calf is eaten, the wildebeest will not be given sympathy at now let's even and that's how we operate as an advanced species with a more developed brain. We still operate like that. We still operate, it's about the strongest and the most adaptable,
and also,
sometimes it's just about the strongest.
And also you can look, if I am from because I'm from Central, if I go to Coast and try to run for the governor, I want to get the seat. Will I be mad because there's no equality? Or
No.
If I go to Nyanza,
but if
I run as the governor and someone from Nyanza comes to Central, he won't get the seat. So my reasoning, my issue is, if we really want to put in, if anyone from any tribe can come from nowhere and become the president of Kenya, then you have to start with small seats like MCA, MPs, governor. If someone from Nyanza can come to Central and run for an MP and get the vote, then it means we are ready now to put even the president. But we can't create this fantasy of politicians are creating this fantasy of lying to people. We are marginalized because our tribe has never become the president. Yet you are at the governor. Under the governor, there's the MP, there's the MCA. You guys are given money.
It's basically the problems we're experiencing as people of maybe western side or coast side or northern side. It's because of these people from the Central or Rift Valley. It's because of them, and it's always been put like that. But if you look at it, even you yourself, when you come from those areas, let's say for example, if I say Uhuru getting into presidency will make my life better, and I just sit and watch news and do nothing, and not improve my skills and not do those things, there's no I'm going to go. It's not going to help me. It's just going to help me when we are majority. You remember, like during the elections, that's when we started seeing people who we've never seen who live in your environment. That's when it will make sense. That's when you'll unite and say, oh, we are voting for the same person. But that person came with a Benz, went to vote. Another person came with a Land Cruiser, went to vote. You came with a bicycle. The only time tribe benefits you, it's when you're going to vote. When you see people of the same tribe going to the same place to vote, that's the only time it benefits. But if you think that voting for someone of your tribe will make your life better, all those people who have a Benz and a TX Prado, all of them worked hard, and you might find that those are people who don't even probably watch news. They probably focus on their businesses and expanding. But this thing of mass it's called what, mob psychology, whereby you watch news, you think that someone needs to lead so they can be better. It never works like that, because it's like the country operates like a company. If you're a top performer, you'll get the promotion. If you're a poor performer, you'll probably get fired.
And also,
I think that's
okay. No, sorry.
And I think that's why most people think the problems are coming from the government. It's not the government. It's just you as an individual. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing to improve your life. You're just waiting for Jesus to come, and even if Jesus comes and you're lazy, you're not going to go to heaven. So I think that's where people are still at. People don't really understand. It's the individual level that
it's
matters,
the individual. Because trust me, we can put every person, every tribe into that seat, and Kenya won't change unless we change
won't change at all, unless you as an individual decide, I am going to learn 5 new skills every day, 5 new skills every year.
We can even play decision. If we can even say after 5 years we have, and corruption will still go on, looting will still go on.
You can even say every 6 months we change the president. So that the tribe can, so that each tribe can,
because the issue of tribe
can have a
because the issue of tribe has been demystified, because governors have been given almost 3 trillion Kenya shillings in 10 years. If you really loved your tribe, why didn't you invest? Why is Northeastern in drought right now?
Yeah, if it was a tribal thing, why Kenya is not growing,
Yeah.
I think the county, on a county level, we would have seen it.
Mm,
We would have seen that, this county, we would have even been hearing about counties being
mm,
great, like
mm,
these counties are very ahead,
mm,
implementing technology,
mm,
road network is amazing,
mm,
factories, jobs, even people would have been moving to those counties because of jobs. Where
mm,
people still coming to Nairobi, the
mm,
same way people have been coming to Nairobi since the
mm,
1990s. It's
mm,
because things there are bad. If
mm,
people are taking risks, leaving land and coming to
mm,
Nairobi because Nairobi has a better economy,
mm,
that shows that those people don't care about their people.
mm,
It's never about, like you said, it's never about someone being in your tribe will make your life better. That
mm,
person is there as an employee, he's coming there to
mm,
do a certain job, and probably we don't even know the job description. So if you're there waiting for someone in government to help you, it's never going to happen. The
mm,
help is going to be, it's like they say in space, when two black holes collide,
mm.
the energy produced when it reaches Earth, it's so small. So when the government changes something in the country, when it reaches you,
Yeah.
it's a very small effect.
Mm,
You'll feel it in a very small effect. It won't be very significant. It won't change
mm,
your life that much. Like the express highway. The express highway is made, but it hasn't changed people's life
mm,
significantly. It has
mm,
changed some people's life significantly. Maybe from Mombasa Road to Westlands, if you're working
mm,
and you have a car, maybe it has changed your life significantly. But that's just maybe 1% of less than 1% of the population.
mm,
So when people don't think about themselves as an individual and think about,
mm,
my problems are because of you, always blaming someone,
mm,
you're always going to be there, because smart people are always people who work on themselves and blame themselves for their own mistakes,
mm,
not people who, group mentality, let's go fight this person, and you don't even know what you're doing.
mm,
And then you go back home, you don't have anyone you can rely on because you didn't work on yourself. And
mm.
I think that kind of analysis it's not being done properly.
Mm.
People are doing it, yes. I
People are
mean,
using
people know.
emotion to challenge logic. They're using
Yeah.
our person has not been there as we've been marginalized, because
Mm,
like I've said before,
mm,
right now there's no excuse. You put your governor to account. Your governor is given billions and billions. Why isn't he doing
mm, yeah.
anything? Because at the end of the day, politics is not a sympathy game. The presidency, it's presidential seat is one, and especially a country like
Mm,
a country like Kenya, where the big tribes are the ones that are controlling politics. It's very hard for the small tribes to get an opportunity, because at the end of the day,
mm, mm.
this game is about who has the most money,
It's
the most
numbers. It's
numbers.
numbers and
Yeah,
resources. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
and you guys,
And
coming from a small tribe, it's not bad, but it will be always at a disadvantage if you think about the president. But at the governor level,
mm,
that's where you can make a lot of change, because
that,
now,
that's where you can make the probably a very
yeah,
significant change.
yeah, and also
Because
these big tribes, when they put their people, they don't go there to help these people, they help themselves. So either way, we are all alone, we are all on the same boat.
yeah,
What people
yeah,
don't
yeah,
realize,
yeah.
if I'm Kikuyu, I'm Luya, I'm Luo, I'm Mijikenda,
Mm,
Taita, there's no difference. We're all the same
mm.
boat. If
There's
you're
no
buying fuel
difference.
at
Yeah,
a
yeah.
certain price, you're all buying at a certain price.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think we don't realize that it's the individual level that changes. It changes a larger population.
Yeah.
Because if I today decide that I'm very good at something and I challenge others, they probably will be challenged. And if you look at a country like America, even if they
Mhm.
have something similar, like what you're going through,
Mm,
even them at an individual level, they are very, very,
mm,
very powerful and very strong. Because if
mm,
an American comes to Kenya, he's
mm,
probably his pool of economic resources is probably like 100 Kenyans,
mm,
and that makes them valuable because at an individual level, they work on their own. In America, you have to own a home. There's no going back to Shago.
mm,
In America, you can't live without a car. You have to have a job. You
mm,
can't live with your parents past 18. So there are
mm,
those things at an individual level that you're faced with that
mhm,
makes you into a very strong individual. But if you look at here in Kenya, the fact that we don't experience, very difficult climate and
mm.
difficult seasons, it's still the same cycle of, oh, it's 5 years
Yeah,
now.
tribalism.
let's go head to head, tribalism, and the real person is just an individual at an individual level.
And you know, tribalism always arises, especially when elections are coming near. It's like some order 66. You know, elections are. That's when people now start thinking, hey, by the way, I'm this tribe, I should vote for this. Yeah.
Yeah. And you haven't even thought about it, about your tribe for 5 years. Election, that's when you remember, oh, I'm this and this tribe. Oh, now it's time to be tribal. And last 5 years you've been working with people who don't even know who their tribe is. But when it's time for election, and I think that will take a long time to change, because it's activated even in the media. In the media, they activate that thing of tribalism. And it's not even it's the media that activates it, you know, like believing in your tribe, in a tribe leader to be a president. That's a very weak point of thinking, because we have to look at where we headed. You know, if we elect someone, where are we headed? But us, we're looking at whose turn is it now? Whose tribe's turn is it now? Yeah.
Okay, I think we can leave it
So
there. I
we
don't
can
think.
close.
Yeah, but just to finish up, I think like it's more an individualistic responsibility, not a tribal responsibility. You just take control of, of what you're doing. Yeah.
And I can say, you know, with the penetration of internet and all that, I think it's very easy to just be an individual. Do the things you want to do the things you like. Don't go to the masses. Just if you're someone who likes to do, like, let's say, if you're a creative person or if you're a leadership kind of person, just find a way to build your skills on an individual level. That's what will save you at the end of the day. It's not a group of people who will come and save you. The skills you have at an individual level is what will get you out of problems at the end of the day.
Okay.
And it's never about a larger, you know, it's never about who's in position where. It's about you as an individual. That's what will get you from point A to point B. So if you're out there, guys, please like and subscribe, leave comments, and we'll keep on producing content every day.
Okay. Bye, guys. Till next time.
Okay, till next time.